If you watched our last video, you know that we arrived in Vietnam. And after a full day exploring Hanoi, we embarked on a very adventurous and rainy experience in the countryside. Did I say very rainy experience? So we just made our way to Ninh Binh here in Vietnam. You can see the weather is not collaborating with us today, but we made it.
We just made our first stop. It's one of the temples outside of Ninh Binh. We're gonna go venture around, and you can see behind us, it's kind of the famous limestone structures. That's, again, you know, what you think of when you see Vietnam, so we're gonna go check it out.
Wow, just a few minutes into this place and it's already breathtaking. So gorgeous. Even when it's raining and we're gonna be soaking wet all day long, but it's amazing.
This is the old temple area. There's like a koi pond down below. If you don't know what a koi is, goldfish, big goldfish. It's weird because I feel like it's echoing in my hat, so I feel loud. No, it's kind of cool. It's obviously, you can see it's spring here. It's rainy. Everything's green, which is cool. But it's quite interesting so far to hear the history of Vietnam, especially in the early times when there was Chinese conquest into Vietnam and how they kind of fought for their independence. And then also between the warring parties in Vietnam. So what do you think so far?
Oh, it's pretty cool. Our guide is pretty good. He's explaining to us all the history behind this whole place. So we're pretty happy that we got a guide that not only took us here, because it's quite a bit of a ride, but it's also explaining everything in so much detail. So that's pretty cool.
So this used to be like a temple that was originally where the original capital of Vietnam was, until pretty much the king at that time had moved it to Hanoi just due to trade and trying to commercialize everything. So there's a bit of history of why this place is important and how it, you know, was kind of the creation of Vietnam and the move before the move to Hanoi.
Oh, it seems like we're gonna go ride a bicycle now.
Ooh, bicycle time.
Exciting. The rain is picking up quite a bit here. It started just sprinkling a little bit and now it's sprinkling heavily, if that makes sense. It's not like heavy rain, but it's just like this
Constant mist.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna go ride bicycles because it's the perfect weather for that. Hey, listen, we're in Vietnam. We're not gonna just sit inside our hotels because it's raining. So we're just gonna go around and explore the most we can.
Now we get to ride our bicycle around the neighborhood. Got some sweet rides. We are wandering through a Vietnam village on a bicycle to work up an appetite for hopefully a delicious lunch.
No, this is amazing. This is a very local village here. Pretty cool. We get to see how the locals live and like all the beauty, all the landscape around it. It's just like breathtaking. Look at that view over there. Wow. I don't know how many more times I'm gonna say it in this video, but I just wish it was not raining.
Con Binh.
Wow, this place is simply unbelievable.
It's quite the experience to have these tall, just incredible structure, you know, natural structure, of course.
And it feels like it's so untouched by humans, but at the same time, there's so much tourism going on here. Guys, this is gorgeous. It is pretty. Feels so good underneath. Today is not so hot, but I imagine that in hot days it must be really good under this ginormous rocks. Wow, guys, what an amazing experience. I highly recommend if you're visiting Vietnam, if you're around Hanoi, this is a must-do thing here in Vietnam. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, I appreciate way more this kind of tourism.
We appreciate like going around and seeing the big cities and everything else and what they have to offer, but going out and seeing nature and getting a little bit more in touch with more the natural, you know, places like this it's another treat by itself in traveling.
I feel very blessed right now.
This is one of those places that you can't even believe exists, that there's just rivers running through mountains, because you only see them in movies and you never think you would experience them until you do, and it's breathtaking, it's cool. So taking this boat up the river here is quite an enjoyment. I don't know, I'm getting a kick out of it. I love it. Thank you.
So we made our first stop. We're sitting here on the way to the final destination. Just got a coffee, used the bathroom. Now we're ready to board our bus again.
So we're at our last stop on this trip, or this tour. We did the boat, we did the bicycle ride, and we're hanging out in kind of the cool limestone areas. So the final one is we're going to be hiking up a mountain. I believe it's like 500 steps or so, but it overlooks kind of the valley over here in Ninh. So tag along if you want to see us sweat a little.
It got a little chilly, so jackets on. Are you ready to do this? I'm already falling.
5.
Yeah. Steps, pretty steep steps. So we made it in 20 minutes, no, 13 minutes. It's not that bad at all. So I highly recommend. It's a little bit crowded at the end of the day, so if you're gonna come here earlier in the day. Also today is very much foggy, so you cannot see like the beauty that people come up here to see, which is the rice fields.
It's called Hang Mao Peak.
We're gonna leave it down below. We're done trying to pronounce all the names. So if you think going up this steps here is the hard part, try to go down. It's so slippery, especially today because it's raining, and I'm always terrified that someone is gonna fall and run me over down the stairs here. So gotta be very careful.
thì nó hơi trơn.
So we made it. It's not as bad as we thought it was going to be.
Nope. But we got.
I'm definitely not cold anymore because I was a little chilly when I got here.
I'm all sweaty. So what a day. We did a lot. If you think about it, we rode bikes around, you know, the Ninh area. We also took a boat ride that was 7 kilometers, I think, one way. And then we climbed this mountain. So I would say we accomplished a lot in this tour. So now we're going back to the bus. We got a 2-hour ride back to Hanoi, where we'll get a hot shower and get some good food in us, and then we have another adventure tomorrow, but a much more relaxing one. So we just got back from our tour. We're going to go find some food and then go to sleep because we got another long day tomorrow of relaxation.
There's just so much going on all the time. So yeah, it's our last night here in Hanoi. We're gonna go try to find some pho again because that was delicious and it's our last night in Hanoi, so why not? It's funny because I said that yesterday. I thought yesterday was going to be our last night in Hanoi because we spent the day in the rain walking around, so I feel like having soup right now, something to warm my insides, if that makes sense. So we're gonna get some dinner and go to bed. We're gonna wake up early tomorrow because we're gonna go to Halong Bay. So it's another 3 to 4 hours bus ride there, and then we're gonna go on a cruise, which is pretty exciting. Look at us, we found this cool little spot, having a beer.
So we found a place to eat after venturing around. They look like they have a good dish. They have all beef. We're just finishing off the night because we gotta get something to eat. We gotta be up early to pack and get ready to go on our next adventure. So we're gonna have a couple beers here. Saigon beer.
Oh, it looks pretty good. It looks ginormous. Look at the size of this bowl. We were looking for a place to go eat pho. This is not necessarily pho. I'm not entirely sure how I call this type of noodles, but it looks pretty good. Super different. I guess you just wrap the greens and the mix of salad and just put everything inside. The beer is pretty good too, so I think it was a good deal. Cheers.